Hello, hello. It's Friday, 11 o'clock. A little bit after. I'm running a little bit late, but we'll still get into it. It is the fourth. What is it? The 24th of January, and I was supposed to be in Laguna Beach today. Like right now. What? 23rd? Oh yeah, I was still supposed to be in Laguna Beach today. I should be on the beach at Laguna Beach, California, but instead I'm here battling the snow with you guys. My trip to Laguna Beach got canceled. Very sad, very sad. I was excited about going. But the good news is I would have missed my show, and now I get to spend it with you. So here we go. And the freezing temperatures of St. Louis, Missouri. So I'm driving in to do the show, and I'm going to do the show about psyops. And this is a great entree into the show Kingdom's Evolution about psyops today. So I'm driving in to the show, and I'm listening to 101.9. And I don't know the gentleman's name that's on before Vic and Ken, Vic Porcelli, the Porcelli Deli, and Ken. I forget his name, but he does a good job. He's on from 5 to 9 on 101.9. Probably besides Vic and Ken, probably does the best job on 101.9. But he's on, and he starts talking about, and this is kind of towards the end of his show, he starts talking about the 4 monkeys and a goat. And I'm like, whoa, 4 monkeys and a goat. And we've all heard, St. Louis has been terrorized by these crazy 4 monkeys and a goat for like over a month. Terrorized. They've been everywhere. And you can see all the pictures online. I mean, these 4 monkeys, I think they were at Ted Drew's terrorizing people and eating some ice cream. I think they've been to a baseball game, a hockey game. They've been literally terrorizing the citizens of St. Louis. And I don't know if they've named the four monkeys or the goat, but they really have been an absolute terror to St. Louis. They were loosed on St. Louis over a month ago. Over a month ago, these 4 monkeys and a goat were loosed on us, and I think they probably were on the top 10 St. Louis most wanted list for capture. And there wasn't a cage that wasn't unlocked and looked into, a building that wasn't searched, and yet they couldn't find them. They could not find. They were so intelligent and evasive that St. Louis's finest, and we do have the best police force in the world, not just St. Louis, but in the world. St. Louis has the best police force in the world. They couldn't find him. Could not find the 4 monkeys and a goat. And yet, online we saw them everywhere. And people actually started, putting memes up. They knew what kind of monkeys they were. I guess they were reem monkeys or something like that. But people had taken pictures of them, and then they were photoshopping the pictures at different places, of course. They didn't actually go to Ted Drew's. But they took the pictures of the 4 monkeys and a goat, and they photoshopped it at Ted Drew's in a baseball game and, at the hockey game. And obviously, they're not in a baseball game because there's no baseball being played, right? So we know that one was photoshopped. But the photographs of the 4 monkeys and the goat were real. They were real, and we knew that there were 4 monkeys and a goat unleashed, disease prone, right? Whenever you're talking about monkeys, you're talking about disease possibilities. So when we found out, the Department of Health found out that there were 4 monkeys and a goat running free, running loose in North St. Louis, their first reaction was call out the dogs. Call them out. We got to get these monkeys. We got to get this goat before we go through another disease epidemic in St. Louis. We got to get this. We got to get these monkeys off the street. And then all of a sudden, my wife pointed out, we don't hear anything more about the monkeys and the goat. Just stops. Psh, gone. Dead silent. Like radio silence. Boom. About 2 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago. Radio silence on the goats, on the 4 monkeys and a goat. No one's talking about the 4 monkeys. Why aren't they talking about the 4 monkeys and a goat anymore? Why not? What happened? Well, the theory was that the Department of Health, knowing the risks involved with disease in monkeys, called in, either they were able to go out and do it, or they called in an elite animal control squad from maybe Detroit or Chicago or New Orleans, an elite animal control squad. Maybe San Diego. I think San Diego would probably be, you don't want your hometown animal control people involved in this, because it's got to be, it's got to be done quietly. Because who's going to capture a monkey? How do you capture a monkey in St. Louis? What do you bring a burlap? You think a burlap sack is going to capture a monkey in St. Louis? No. It's got to be an elite squad. It's got to be the best of the best to capture 4 monkeys and a goat. The goat, the goat, maybe you can capture the goat, but what are the 4 monkeys going to do when you try to get the goat? You think they're just going to let you take the goat? No, it's their goat. They're gonna go, monkey crazy on you. They're gonna go monkey crazy. So you can't just have police officers arresting a goat when there are going to be 4, crazy disease monkeys attacking you when you try to capture the goat. You got to have an elite animal control squad come in, take out the monkeys, and take out the goat. And maybe you take out the goat first and use the goat as like bait to get the monkeys to come out. But I'm just saying, there was an elite squad. Like how they do in the military, and the bad guys, they'll wound a soldier, and then they'll wait for the other soldiers to try to come get him, and then they'll try to kill all the soldiers that come get him. That's probably what the elite animal squad did with the goat. They probably wounded the goat, let him cry out a little bit in North St. Louis, bah, bah, And then when the monkeys came to rescue their goat, they probably were right there waiting for him, man. Probably right there waiting for the 4 monkeys to come help their goat friend, and then they took out the monkeys. That's probably what that might be what happened. That might be what happened. But we don't know what happened because it went off the scale. Radio silence. Nothing from anybody. And now today, I'm driving in. And so this has all been up in the air. We don't know, we've seen the Photoshop pictures of the goats and the monkeys, all in the media, on the internet. And they never named the monkeys. They never named the monkeys, which I think was, we probably should have named the monkeys so that it would be, it'd be even more difficult for these guys, for animal control to take them from us. But we were waiting. We figured it would be like they'd wait a while till people stop posting memes about the 4 monkeys and the goat, and that maybe in a year from now they'd say, due to disease and all these other risks that the 4 monkeys, and physical violence that the 4 monkeys posed, that we had to take out the monkeys. They'll come clean with it. But it'd be like a year from now when the emotional attachment isn't there to the monkeys. We had to take them out. They were too dangerous. We were worried that they were going to go to Ted Drew's and try to go to a baseball game, and we ended up having to take them out. And we didn't take pictures. We didn't video it. We don't know where their graves are. We incinerated them. Because we don't need a 4 monkey grave site somewhere that people can go and pay homage and realize just, how heartless authority has to be to stop disease control, for disease control. So they just would announce it a year from now when the flame was off the 4 monkeys' back, and they could come out and tell us the truth. So we just figured it would be radio silence, for maybe a year. That's what I figured. I figured they took out the goat, they took out the 4 monkeys. It was a kind of a bloody scene. It wasn't a very nice scene, and they just didn't want to, tell everybody what they had to do, because sometimes what you've got to do to protect us from 4 monkeys and their diseases and bad goat's milk, you don't really want to you don't really want to share that with everybody right away. You want to take your time. You want to take your time, let it cool off a little bit, kind of like Epstein Island. Let it cool off a little bit, and then come out a point in time down the road and just kind of let everybody down a little easier when the iron's not so hot, when the love isn't so real, when the attachment and the fun of the Four Monkeys is kind of dissipated a little bit. But they came out today. They came out today and said, guess what? Guess what? Oh, no. We didn't take out the Four Monkeys. We went back through our records and found out that the Four Monkeys never existed. Now that is total bullshit. Because how did they get the pictures of the monkeys? I mean, I'm not talking about the ones at Ted Drew's or the baseball game or the hockey game or all the funeral homes. Those ones might be real. But all the other pictures of the monkeys, all over St. Louis, these Four Monkeys, they have pictures of them. But where did they get, and I know those ones are Photoshopped, but where did they get the original Four Monkeys picture and the goat? Right? So somebody saw them. Somebody clicked the pic, and that's the pic that they used to Photoshop them. But the first pic was probably, in an abandoned hospital, in North St. Louis. Probably the four, what's that, Homer G Phillips. What's that one hospital right at Sydney and 44? It's been there. It's got all the every window's broken, I mean, that's probably where they took the first picture. So the theory is that now they come out and say, oh, no, there were never four monkeys and a goat in St. Louis on the loose. That the policeman that called in, get this, policeman called in to the health department and said there were four monkeys and a goat on the loose. And that's why the health department announced it. But now, that's what the health department said. But now you go back to the St. Louis Police Department, and the St. Louis Police Department is saying they have no record. The greatest police department in the world has no record of them ever calling the St. Louis Health Department and telling them that there were four monkeys and a goat on the loose in St. Louis. Who's lying here? Who's not telling us the truth? Is it the Department of Health saying that the police department called them? Is it the police department saying they never called the Department of Health? I mean, this is terrible. And so everybody, the conspiracy is that everybody's trying to deny culpability. And I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere, somehow, someone's got a hold of what actually happened. There's going to be somebody that's going to come out and be a tattletale and tell everybody what actually happened to the four monkeys and a goat and what the Department of Health had to do to protect us from from potential monkey diseases and bad goat's milk. So here we are. Oh, so I'll call them back. So here we are, deep into winter. The snow's about to hit, and I guess the good news for the monkeys and the goat is, they're not gonna freeze to death because they're not here anymore. So they're not here anymore. These guys are so trying to cover their tracks on the four monkeys and a goat by saying they were never here. Who believes that? Who believes that the four monkeys and a goat were never running free and wild in North St. Louis? Anybody? Does anybody believe that there were actually never four monkeys and a goat running through St. Louis wild and crazy and nobody could catch them? Does anybody believe that? No. We know they were there. There were four monkeys and a goat. Now the question is, what happened to them? So if the Department of Health is sticking by their story that they improperly notified everybody that there were four monkeys and a goat on the loose, okay, there's a little bit of shame there. But if they're sticking to that story, then the other possibility is the four monkeys and a goat were time travelers. And they just popped in for a little while, let people take pictures, and then poof, they're back to the future. It's like Planet of the Apes, man. They've got time travel in the future, and the four monkeys and a goat came back to see, what St. Louis was like, you know, from 2512. They just popped in the time machine, came back, and were giving us a heads up on what actually happened. Where they came from. So, hold on a second here. Somebody just came in.
Yeah, I'm with Jay.
Oh, okay. All right. Normally, it's all right. All right. So, here we go. So we don't know. So where we go from here with the four monkeys and a goat, we don't know. They might time travel. If they are time travelers, they might travel back to St. Louis, in a couple of years and show us, tell us what's up with the future, and that would be awesome, man. Wouldn't you like to know the future from these guys? I mean, that would be awesome. Goats probably have a completely different perspective on where we are in our world, but where this kind of blends in. So, how does this all, Joe, how does this all fit into the PSYOP? Right? You said you were going to talk to us about the PSYOP. Well, here's where it all blends into the PSYOP, right? If the media, through fear and panic and messaging, can make you believe that there were four monkeys and a goat running loose in St. Louis, could they make you believe perhaps that you shouldn't go into a nursing home to visit your grandmother before she dies because you might catch COVID? The deadly, deadly disease of COVID? Is it possible that that messaging machine that psyoped you into thinking there were four monkeys and a goat on the loose in St. Louis? Do you not think that this PSYOP machine can pretty much put anything into your brain that they want to put into your brain and make you believe it? Of course they can. Of course they can, because they made you believe there were four monkeys and a goat running free in St. Louis. Now, you probably didn't believe that they went to Ted Drew's. You probably didn't believe that they went to the baseball game. Some of you might have. But most of you probably figured out, no, I don't think that photo's real. I don't think they dressed up in Blues uniforms and went and played hockey. Now, some of you probably figured out that that was a Photoshop, right? But I promise you, 80 to 90 to 100% of the people of St. Louis area believed, some part, if not fully, believed that there were four monkeys and a goat running around in St. Louis that could not be caught. Promise you. Oh, somebody had four monkeys as pets and a goat as a pet, and they escaped, and they're running around. Now they're running around St. Louis, and they can't catch them. I believe that. I promise you, 80, 90 to 100% of St. Louis believed that there were four monkeys and a goat running around St. Louis. You believed it. You believed it. You were waiting for the pictures of them being captured. Admit it. You were waiting. Like, oh, man. You were thinking, how are they going to capture four monkeys? How is the St. Louis Police Department going to capture four monkeys and a goat? You believed it. I believed it. We were all waiting for the day. We didn't think, now we didn't think they would escape capture long, that we thought the St. Louis Zoo would get involved, and they're like professional monkey hunters. Like the zoo, they get the zoo involved. Those guys will find those monkeys lickety split. They'll put out little monkey traps. They'll catch them in no time at all. They'll beam up the satellite for the trails, the goat trails from the satellite. They have a different biosignature that they can see from the satellites, and the zoo will track down that goat, and the four monkeys will be right there. Think about it. Think about that PSYOP, where they bombard your brain with idiotic messages that you believe, but they bombard them. This was only a month. This was only like 2 weeks. This was only like 2 weeks of psyop bombardment, right? With the four loose monkeys and the goat. It was only maybe 2 weeks where the hunt was on. The hunt is on for the 4 monkeys and the goat. Lock your doors. There's 4 diseased monkeys and a goat out there somewhere, and you don't know if they get into your house. How are you ever going to get them out? Were you not waiting for them to show you the capture? The 4 monkeys. It just. Were you not waiting for their capture? So now the health department is saying that there were never 4 monkeys. That the police department, the health department is saying that the police department called them. The police department is saying, "Are you insane? Like, who called you? Which police officer called you and said they saw 4 monkeys and a goat? Who said that?" And my guess is the health department probably doesn't have a very good record of which police officer called them. It was probably Officer, are you an idiot? Perhaps the greatest prank call of all time. Now, granted, whoever made that phone call probably broke the law by pretending to be a police officer. But at some point in time, man, you got to own this, because this was perhaps, I hope it was like a radio show or something, because perhaps the greatest prank of all time, this call to the Department of Health. They probably said, this is St. Louis Police Department. We've had multiple sightings of 4 monkeys and a goat. Come on. We believe that there were 4 monkeys and a goat. I believe I was waiting for their capture. I was waiting for their saving, not their capture, but their saving, because it was cold outside and they were going to freeze to death. Weren't you worried about the 4 monkeys freezing to death in the cold? Oh my gosh. But this is the PSYOP. This same machine that did the photo, the photo ops and the photoshops, and brought the news stories and had all this whole machine, this whole mechanism, this whole PSYOP mechanism, this tornado of battering your brain with bullshit, with 100% bullshit, which any logical, reasonable human being would call bullshit. They do it to you every single day. Every single day, this tornado of bullshit hits your brain, and you believe there's 4 monkeys and a goat out there somewhere. You believe that the people raping and murdering our children are good guys. And the people who are trying to arrest them and protect your women and your children and your house and our treasury, the people coming in to stop them are the bad guys. You believe it. You believe it. I'm not arguing that you don't believe it. I just want you to say it out loud with me. The people trying to arrest rapists and murderers are the bad guys, and the rapists and murderers are the good guys. They're the guys that we need to risk our lives to protect at all cost. At all cost, protect the rapists and murderers, because the police that are trying to arrest them are the bad guys. Say it with me. Be loud. Be proud. You are in a tornado of PSYOP bullshit, and it's hitting your brain, and you're taking it in. We all take in this. My point is, it's like we all take in the PSYOP, right? We all take it in. I took it in. I was waiting for those 4 monkeys and a goat to be found and saved. We all take it in. Maybe some of the people making the photoshops didn't believe it. They were like, there's no 4 monkeys and a goat loosed on a hellbound mission in our city. Maybe they took it for what it was, a great prank by somebody on the Department of Health. Maybe they understood like this is not happening, dude. But it's funny as hell, and we're gonna make some fun Photoshop pictures of it. We get it. Like we've had so much fun with the four. We should name the four monkeys and the goat, because at this point in time, we should name the goat you, right? You the goat. And what should we name the four monkeys? We should have a contest to name the four dearly loved monkeys that are no longer with us, because it's either through time travel or through a health department, elimination op. Maybe they called them in. I think San Diego, honestly, because you don't want your hometown St. Louis animal professionals going out and taking out the four monkeys. I think you'd have to go San Diego, probably San Diego or Louisiana, man. Louisiana, they know how to handle animals. Maybe you get an alligator trapper or a snake handler, somebody that really knows their crap about dealing with animals. You bring them in town, you fly them in, say, go find the goat. And you find the goat, you're gonna find the four monkeys. And I'm rubbing my nose because it's running. It's not because I'm taking cocaine. I know it seems like this show, but I'm not. There's a tornado of psyops every day by the same people. The news, the city, the state, the federal government. Every day there's a psyop. It's coming your way. It's coming your way. Boom, it hits your brain. The murderers and rapists that broke into your country are the good guys. Yes, they may murder your wife. Yes, they may rape your daughter. But hey, these evil deporter guys wearing the uniform, ooh, they're the bad guys. They're the bad. Look at the rapist cry. Look at the tears of that rapist. Look at his child. His 5-year-old child. They arrested his 5-year-old child. What? They arrested a 5-year-old? The psyop is hitting your brain. It's hitting it every single day. The choices you have are to move away from the tornado. Oh, look, Dad, it's a tornado. Let's go to the roof and see if we can get a better look. That's what people say right before they meet their maker. There's a psyop, a tornado psyop, coming your way, and it's on NBC News. It's on CBS News. It's on Yahoo News. It's on Google. It's on Reuters. It's on AP News. It's on The View. Every day, this tornado is there. You know where the tornado is. You know where the tornado is on Drudge Report. And it filters into Fox News sometimes. And it filters into your radio broadcast sometimes. And it filters into your weather forecast sometimes when they tell you about global warming. And it filters into your crime news sometimes when they don't give a shit about St. Louisans getting killed in North St. Louis. One life lost in North St. Louis matters as much as a life lost in South St. Louis. Matters as much as a loss in West County. It matters as much as a life in Ladue. Matters as much as a life in Clayton. But the people in St. Louis perhaps don't have the same advertising money. The advertisers don't really give a shit about attracting people to watch the death of a 19-year-old black St. Louisan as they do about a 30-year-old Ladue person, white person, killed in a car accident in Ladue. The advertisers, who do you think the advertisers want the news to focus on? Do you think they want them to focus on the life lost by the young man in the city? Or do you think the advertisers think more people with money we'll be watching about the 30-year-old woman killed in Ladue. What do you think? So all of a sudden, the news media, Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, they completely forget about the kid killed in the city. But man, oh man, they got 15-minute segment on the family of the traffic accident. It's a psyop, kids. It's a psyop. And one of the biggest psyop entryways into your brain is the local news. Because you have to go to the local news to watch the weather. You have to go to the local news to watch the sports. And so in between going to watch the sports and the weather, the psyop, the tornadoes right there, man. That's like the eye of the storm. The weather and the sports for the local news. Because the rest of the local news is total bullshit. They don't tell you about all the people that died from COVID and the COVID vaccine. They told you all the people that died from COVID, but did they mention any of the people getting sick and dying and having cancer and having blood clots and dying from the COVID jab? Are you freaking kidding me? No, they're not. They're not warning you. Hell, they're still giving the jab. They're still giving the COVID jab at Schnucks in Clayton. They still have the advertisements up to get the COVID jab. There's some places that are paying people to get the COVID jab. I mean, it's insanity. It's depopulation. At some point in time, you've got to recognize that the 4 monkeys and a goat never existed. Global warming never existed. It never happened. This entire tornado of bullshit had a purpose. And that purpose was a psyop on your brain to destroy America's oil and gas industry. That's it. China funded the psyop. Russia funded the psyop. The Muslims and Arabs funded the psyop. But they all loved the psyop, destroying America. So do you think the destroying America psyop is functioning on Trump? Is focused on Trump right now? Absolutely it's focused on Trump. The tornado psyop is against Trump because Trump is his own tornado. Right? He's a hurricane, and he's taking that tornado down. And we're dwindling that tornado down. But the psyop, that tornado psyop is still out there, man. It's still out there. It's still waiting for you. It's still waiting for you. We have to save our neighbors. We have to save our neighbors and our friends from this tornado psyop that tells them the earth is warming. It's like, well, that Hunter Biden's laptop is not Hunter Biden's. That Donald Trump is a bad guy and a Russian spy. That psyop is still there. They're still in the tornado, man. They're still watching the local news and believing everything they tell them. There never were 4 monkeys and a goat. I'll just tell you right now. Now I'll be the guy that tells you. I'll be the guys that tell you. It was a massive prank. It was awesome. I think we should absolutely 100% roll with it. We should name the 4 monkeys, and you the goat. You the goat should be named you. We can spell it EWE if that makes you feel any better, right? If that makes you feel better, we can name it EWE like a female sheep. But I think we should just name it the letter U. You the goat. All right, everybody. That is my show because I've got a great show that's going to follow this. And and he needs to start his show at 12. And I've had so much fun with you today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. But stay out of the tornado, man. And don't kid yourself. The hurricane has its goats and monkeys too, right? So that's why you've got to understand that you are base everything that you do on simple truths. Discover what you can. Try to make rational, reasonable assessments of when someone's full of shit and when they're telling you the truth. And if somebody tells you bullshit enough times, stop listening to them, for God's sake. Stop watching the local news. Stop watching CNN. Stop watching MSN Now, MSNBC. Stop watching ABC, CBS, NBC. When you Google stuff, know that Google is hiding 90% of anything that they don't agree with. And Google is part of the tornado of total depopulation bullshit. I, on the other hand, am truth. Vic Porcelli and Ken, every day on 101.9. Look them up online. It's a great show, and it's a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun, and they do a good time. And if you want some entertainment, if you get tired of me on Kingdom's Evolution, you can always go to them. Name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Holy Mary, Mother of God, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Holy Mary, Mother of God, blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And I just want to say, Mary, the greatest human ever. Male, female, Mary rocked it so that we all could know heaven. God bless Mary. She is the doll of all dolls, the woman of all women, the girl of all girls. Mary rocked it out for all of us. She did not have a divine nature. She was 100% human. And she rocked it out for us. We owe all of eternity to Mary. It's a very kind of God to find Mary, but Mary was the one that was true to all of us. And she risked it all so that we can know heaven. God bless you, Mary. And if you want intercession from God, Jesus, has a hard time saying no to his mom. I'm just saying. All right, everybody. So that's the end of the show. Let's see if I can find a little music to end us out. We'll just go Fleetwood Mac all day today.